Hi YouTube, I'm JoshStrifeHayes and this is going to be a video guide to Malabog's Castle. Malabog's Castle is the first epic dungeon in your list. It requires level 68 and has an item level requirement of 6,500. In this group we've got 3 DPS, a tank and a healer, so let's get straight into it. Private queue, Malabog's Castle, and off we go. We're going to take this slowly. I'm going to explain all the mechanics to all the mini-bosses and the boss as we go. In this guide, I'm not going to show you any of the hidden secrets. This is simply a quick guide for how to complete the dungeon as fast and efficiently as possible. In a more in-depth guide, we will look at all the secrets. So when we start, you want to hop on your mount and ride straight forward. These guys are not going to attack any of the bosses until I attack them. They're simply here to support me and help make this guide better. You can avoid that mob over there by running around on the left-hand side here and jumping past. We've got the DPS that avoiding mobs is not really a problem. These guys are going to follow me and take on everything. So when we get into the castle, let's just burn everything down as fast as we possibly can. These guys can be a real problem for any group with lower armor. So take your time, work as a group, and kill everything. See this siege tower here, this huge siege tower? We need to destroy it. We do that by jumping onto the back and pressing F to light the barrel. Once the barrel has been lit, the siege tower will explode. We need to blow up all the siege towers before we can carry on into the rest of this dungeon. And the reason I can't light this one right now is probably because there's an enemy close to me. If there's an enemy close, we need to take it out before it will allow me to leave combat. Can't see any enemies around me, so I should be out of combat by now. Let's join up with the rest of the group and see what they're doing. You obviously can't interact with anything until you're out of combat. Malabog's Castle was notorious as an area full of lag when it first came out. So if you lag quite badly, don't worry about it. That's not you, that's just something that this dungeon has. So my companion seems to have been quite zealous and decided to run off and attack something. Here we go, we blow the first one up, and then we get thrown back by the explosion. That shouldn't kill you, that won't be too bad. There's one there, there's one here. See this big ramp here? You don't need to go up there. There's enemies up there that you don't need to fight and don't need to kill. Carry on around the side and take out this group here. The big enemies aren't really the problem. The problem in Malabog's Castle is the huge groups of small enemies. They're going to overpower you and do little damage, but there's loads of them. So it all adds up very, very quickly. There are a total of 5 siege towers to destroy. You have to destroy all 5 to get to the next area. If you have any questions about this, you can normally find me on Twitch under JoshStrifeHayes. And on there, I'll be happy to answer any questions about the Hunter Ranger class or an in-depth review of this dungeon. As I said before, this will be a quick guide. I will not be showing you any of the hidden areas or the optional places to go. Although they do exist in this dungeon, this guide is about getting as fast as we can to the treasure chest at the end. There's no mechanics that are really worth mentioning with these mobs, apart from avoiding the red as usual. Strider's taken care of the final siege tower. Once the final siege tower is done, run over here, activate this giant sword switch, open the gate and ride through. Remember, you can get onto your mounts. When we turn left at the corner, there's a hidden ambush of enemies waiting for us on the right at the top. See where Dorgans ran to immediately? Those guys will jump down off the wall. So get some AoE out and take care of them quickly. Activate the second big sword, the second gate. We want to take out this catapult and all the enemies around it. No specific mechanics, just do as much damage as you can and keep them in a group. Makes it easier. The team I'm running with are able to burn through this content really quickly. They've done it before and they're all exceptionally well geared. If you're not as fast as this, don't worry. Just go as fast as you can. Now we have to take out the castle catapults in order to unlock the next gate. The first catapult we took was down below the ramp, we just passed it, and the other two are over here. We're going to kill these mobs first so they don't bother us while we're killing the catapults. The catapults can't do any damage to you, but they do have health. Once they're both down, you're going to find your way over here to the first mini-boss. Kroll Nightforge. Now Dorgan's going to grab the aggro and then simply tank it and not do anything else while I talk through the attacks. Kroll's going to dart around, teleporting around the arena and attacking whoever's got the aggro. He's also going to spawn adds at the same time. You'll see occasionally that huge red circles appear on the floor with raining damage coming down. Avoid that as fast as possible. The giant soul enemies will hit those huge logs down in a line, and the thorn ones have an annoying AoE attack in front of them. Kroll will teleport around the arena quickly. He just darted behind me and hit me with quite a damaging attack. As soon as you've got used to that, simply start damaging him. He will teleport to whoever's there, kill the adds, and kill Kroll as fast as possible. There's nothing specifically difficult about this boss. Halfway through, you might summon some more powerful adds. If you've got a lower DPS group, you want to focus on those as soon as possible. See this guy here that's just joined up, the Hewer? Kill him quickly. And occasionally you'll see the Storm Shaman. The Storm Shamans can be real problems for newer groups. Once you've taken all these guys down, Kroll will drop some Seal of the Dark Fae. Seal of the Dark Fae are campaign currency used to buy things in the Sharandar campaign. You don't particularly need them anymore, but it's nice to have them. Run through, activate the sword, and you'll be teleported to the next part of the dungeon. Straight forward into the first room with some enemies. Running towards you. Take out the whole group. They're not hard. They can swarm you if you're not careful. So if you're low on armor, don't run straight in. Now this whole room you can actually avoid by running around the edge, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do it legit, run forward, and just kill everything. There's nothing specific to remember about this part of the dungeon, apart from avoiding the red and doing as much damage as you can. There are hidden paths you can take, but we're not going to take them on this guide. We followed through and ran to the other side of the room. Remember, we entered over there, we've cleared the room out, and ran all the way through over here. We're not going to follow the mini-boss, we're just going to carry on with the main part of the dungeon and get to the treasure chest as quickly as we can. There are a few elite enemies in this room. Shouldn't be an issue for even a medium geared group. We go through this room, turn right and run down here. Now you can turn left and open up another part of the dungeon, but we're not going to. We're going to turn right, follow the quickest path to get to the boss. So we turn right down here and carry on. There's now no other way to go apart from following this route round. When we come down this part of the corridor, a mob is going to run toward us. Thankfully, I'm a mob sweeper, so I should be able to do some damage to them. Once we've cleared those guys, run down here, turn left into this slightly flooded room. A few elite enemies are going to greet you. Malabog's castle was released back when the Sharandar expansion came out and was, at the time, one of the much harder dungeons. It also followed on the storyline of Valindra and her Draco Lich, which was an interesting storyline back at the time. We've cleared this area and ran through. Dorgan's going to run through it, hopefully get the aggro on these little guys that jump around. See these runners, these quicklings? They used to be a massive problem. because they would hit huge damage in quick succession, taking out all but the most well-armoured players. Reach the throne room is the second mini-boss, Malabog himself. A few interesting mechanics, and I'll talk about them as we go. Malabog is going to summon lots of adds to this arena, like these war trolls and poweries just here. Taking these out isn't a problem. Malabog himself will occasionally be surrounded by an electric force field and become invulnerable. I'm going to let Dorgan grab the aggro right now, and then I'm going to do some damage so we can hopefully see that effect take place. Now this team that I'm in will probably burn him down if we tried way too quickly. So I'm going to hope that we can get and see, there it is. See the huge AoE damage and now this electric force field. You can't hurt him now, so don't even try. Use this time to take out all the adds that are in the arena with you, focusing if you can on this witch over here. It's the one that's going to give you the most trouble if you're a lower geared group. She hits the highest. Once the witch is done, you'll see the shield has come off Malabog. It's time to get back on him and keep hitting him. There's nothing more difficult about this fight than focusing on Malabog when the shield is down, and when the shield is up, use that time to take care of the adds. Don't go near him during this time, otherwise like this, you'll get shocked and thrown back. When everyone else is taken out, Malabog should go down quite easily. Even though we've killed Malabog, that is not the end of this dungeon. Valindra now turns up and steals the dragon Fulminarax. The actual boss of this dungeon is now going to be chasing Fulminarax and Valindra. Clear any of the remaining adds that are in the room, and then we'll carry on with that. Malabog, just like the previous mini-boss, also drops some Seals of the Dark Fae. Occasionally, some lower blue equipment. Make sure you don't forget your seals. This is the only place you can get them. Now we're very close to the end of the dungeon. Just a few more bits to go. Activate this sword over here. This is going to teleport us to the next part. You can hop on your mount again and race off. Activate the sword, it'll teleport you through the gate, and you'll see Fulminarax. Don't worry, you don't need to fight him yet. Just do enough damage to him to make him fly away. It won't be that much you need to do. Once he's flown away, we're going to carry on chasing him. Now over here on the right, there is a chest. It's a mimic, so if you do what I'm doing right now and open it, you'll spawn a mimic for your team to fight. If you've got a great team like I have, feel free to do that. If you haven't got a great team, don't do that. There is actually a special way to tell whether a chest is a mimic or not. When you aim at the chest with the aiming receptacle in the center of your screen, if the aiming receptacle remains a circle and does not change, it is a mimic. If the aiming receptacle changes slightly and has a little loot icon inside it, then it's a real chest and you can open it up. So look at a chest. If the aiming receptacle changes, you can open it without fear. If the aiming receptacle does not change and remains a circle, it's a mimic. Now this gate here, you do not need to open. You can actually just jump through the center of it. It's small enough that you can hop through the middle. Once you've hopped through that gate, carry on back down this path again, and we'll take on the final boss of Malabog's castle, which is the dragon Fulminarax. Activate the sword, stand in the circle, and let's go. Now I'm going to let my tank grab the aggro, and I'm going to talk you through some of the attacks that are going to happen. Valindra's in the arena at the same time, but you can't harm her. We're mainly focusing on killing the dragon. Run forward, tank, grab the aggro. Now Valindra's going to fire damage at you throughout this entire fight. There's nothing you can do about that, so just deal with it. Occasionally you'll see the huge beam which hits an area on the floor. Avoid the red and just accept that Valindra's going to keep hitting you. Ignore her, focus on Fulminarax. Very, very simple dragon fight. He's going to attack who's ever in front of him and occasionally do a big AoE. He can hit with his tail behind him, so don't stand too close there. Burn Fulminarax down as fast as you can. Ignore Valindra for the time being and burn the dragon. Occasionally Valindra will spawn an ad. When that happens, you want to focus on the ad, because it can be big and it can be powerful. When Fulminarax has taken enough damage, he'll fly off. When he flies off into the sky, you'll see these strips of red damage. This is him doing flyovers and using his electric breath. You want to simply keep an eye on the floor and dodge in between the red strips all the time. I'm going to stand in the next red strip to show you how much damage it can do. That's a lot of damage. I only got back up because my Soul Forge triggered back then. So avoid the red as often as you can. Staying together as a team here can be a double-edged sword. If you stay close to someone, they can help res you if you fall, but you run the risk of all being hit if one of you gets hit. Once Fulminarax is back, burn him down as fast as possible. The damage from Valindra is going to keep coming, so the quicker you can get this fight over with, the better. Huge big Dragon Breath attack in front, massive lightning damage, so move out the way. Valindra's throwing the AoE damage there too. You're going to get hit a lot in this fight, so the quicker you can deal with it, the better. Fulminarax is going to fly off again, and we will once again have to avoid the red damage on the floor. This is often known as doing the bacon dance. You can, if you time it well enough, dodge out the way of Valindra's incoming damage. As soon as you see it flying at you, try and dodge. I was slightly too late there. The second flyovers, as you can see, are lasting quite a lot longer than the first, so you need to dodge a lot more and survive for a little bit longer. Once you've managed to successfully dodge the second lot of flyovers, burn down Fulminarax for the last remaining bit of health he has. Tell your team to go full DPS and hit as hard as you can. Once Fulminarax dies, you'll see a short cinematic with Valindra. And after that, you can go and claim your prize. Sometimes the dragon itself will drop things. As you can see, I got a Peridot on the floor just there. Some more Seals of the Dark Fae as well. Over here there are, as usual, two chests. The first chest opened using an epic dungeon key. I'll do that now. Choice of 2 belts and some seals and a Fey Touched enchantment shard. Over here you can see the Malabogs castle chest. This requires the Malabogs castle key. To get that, open your quest journal, go to your Sword Coast Chronicles, click on the Sharandar campaign. You can make the Malabogs castle key using 3 gold coins, 20 gold crescents, and 10 Feywild sparks. You find these from doing the Sharandar campaign. I don't have that key now, so I'm going to leave it for the time being. That's been a really quick guide to Malabogs castle. Thank you for joining us. Hope it goes well for you.